If you are spending more than 10 hours a week on your marketing and you do not know which platform is bringing you the highest quality leads, then you are quite literally wasting your time. And I've spent nearly a decade fixing tech infrastructure for businesses across so many different industries. And marketing tech debt is one of the most expensive problems that I see on a regular basis because most business owners have no idea that it's actually happening. So today I'm going to break down the 3 most impactful areas where marketing tech debt is actually secretly killing your business. And if you're not doing at least these 3 things, then you're just burning money, which time is more valuable than money, right? So why are we wasting it? First and foremost, here's what you need to understand. Every single link that you publish on social platforms without a way to measure the ROI or the impact of that post is adding hundreds of dollars to your technical debt. And most businesses are doing this dozens of times per week. But don't just take my word for it. Here is a real example of a client of mine who was splitting his time between Instagram and Reddit. And he was posting the exact same content, the exact same links on both platforms, spending hours every single week creating those posts. But when I asked him which platform was actually driving more traffic to his business, he had no idea because he was using the exact same links on every single platform. So when we set up link tracking, then we had one unique link for Instagram and we had one unique link for Reddit. And you know what we found? That 90% of his traffic, if not more, was coming from Instagram and only 10% was coming from Reddit. And he was spending half of his time on Reddit. So basically 10% of his results was taking up 50% of his time. And that is marketing tech debt. Wasted effort that you can't even measure because you don't know what the real outcome is. And here's the thing, he had been doing this for months. And think about how many hours you're spending and how much potential revenue that is just gone because you can't track where the traffic is really coming from. All right, now before we go deeper on this is just 1 out of 6 videos in the Technical Debt Detox series. This is video 2. And in this series, I am not only going into what is technical debt, but how it affects every single department in your business and how it's actually killing your profit margins. Like I said, we're on video 2. So over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be breaking down how it's destroying your sales, how it's sabotaging your service, and how it's breaking your support department. And you really don't want to miss any of those. So click below to join the detox. It's 1 video per week and it could save you thousands. And that's not even me exaggerating because I have a literal client testimonial saying, you saved me thousands. Let's talk about the 3 areas where marketing debt tends to show up. Now, of course, there are more, but these are the 3 most impactful. So as I mentioned before in my story, the first one is link tracking. Now, this sounds pretty basic, but most businesses aren't doing it. Here's the problem. You think that the more links you put on the internet, the higher chance you have of people clicking on them. And that's technically not wrong. But if you actually see some success, then you're going to go to try to figure out, okay, well, which link gave me the most traffic? Like, where did this success come from? Which hook worked? Which piece of content actually drove those leads? And unfortunately, since you were just trying to do a volume of links, then you're not actually going to know where the success came from. Meaning that you got the result. Great, but you're not going to be able to recreate it. You cannot double down on what worked because you don't know what worked. And every time you publish without any tracking, that is a clear form of technical debt because you're putting in effort that you cannot quantify or qualify later. Now, here is something that businesses always get wrong, and that is chasing the vanity metrics, meaning you are chasing views instead of clicks. I see this all the time. Someone's going to have a video with high views, but a low click-through rate, and they think that it's performing better than one that has, say, lower views, but a higher click-through rate. And so they ignore it. But views, like I said, are a vanity metric, and click-through rate is actually a business metric. And the reality is that the video with the higher click-through rate is more valuable for the business because it clearly resonated with the right people. They were inspired to click and learn more about what you do. But if you're not tracking your individual links and your individual pieces of content, then you're never actually going to know which of these topics, which of these pieces of content that you're producing are actually the ones driving the most value for your business. So, action plan. Here's what you need to do. At minimum, you need to create a unique link for each of the individual platforms that you're posting on. So you're able to see which of your platforms is generating the most traffic to your business. And that way, at the minimum, you know when someone clicks, where they came from. But if you want to go into beast mode, level 2 of this is definitely creating a unique link for every single piece of content. The second thing you have to do is figure out your AI search ranking. So GEO is the new SEO. I made a newsletter about this. It got tons of traction and it even got hate. So I was like, wow, I must have really nailed something on the head because it's controversial at this point. But the reality is that every time you even do a Google search now, Gemini is the one that answers all of those questions. So AI search ranking, or GEO, is not a question anymore. It's actually something that all businesses need to be aware of and also need to understand how they rank in AI searchability. Because otherwise, if you're not ranking in AI search, you will not be suggested by any of the AI platforms that people are going to ask their questions to now. So here's what's changed. Now the way people search is they're not going to Google and auditing for themselves what link they want to click on. They're going to Perplexity, they're going to Gemini, they're going to ChatGPT, and they're saying, okay, what is the answer to this? And then the AI is actually consolidating one answer based on all of the links that it has access to. So your goal is to be one of those links, because nobody's scrolling through those pages anymore. That's AI's job now. If you're not showing up in the consolidated answer, then you're just invisible, or whatever is worse than invisible, especially when it comes to business. AI isn't giving people 10 links to choose from. It's giving them one consolidated answer. And if you're not part of that answer, and this is the shift from SEO, search engine optimization, to GEO, which is generative engine optimization. It's also known as AEO, answer engine optimization. Call it whatever you want. I don't care. The point is, are you coming up in the answer that AI is giving? Rules are different now. Because in the old way with SEO, you were optimizing for keywords and key phrases. But now with GEO, you need to optimize for what's called EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And so this doesn't just mean that you're trying to rank for keywords. It means you're trying to be the answer to the contextual questions people are asking. And that is not just built from one blog post. That is built from your all-encompassing digital footprint on the internet. Because AI is looking for signals that you're credible as a resource. They're looking at everything, not just your website, but your reviews, your mentions, your social proof, and not just on one platform, not just on Google, on a lot of different platforms. And if you're still creating content the old way, which is just pumping out blog posts that are, packed full of keywords, then you're going into massive tech debt. And this doesn't just go for blogs. This goes for any piece of content that you're putting on the internet. If you're producing content that AI can't find, then it's not going to reference it, and it's not going to help your business. Here is a absolutely free resource that I get nothing from sending you here, but go do this. It's an absolutely free tool from HubSpot, and it's going to show you how you rank in AI search, not only in Google or Gemini, but also in Perplexity and ChatGPT. And it literally takes about 2 minutes. The link is in the description. Go get your score on each of these individual platforms, because if you don't know where you stand with AI, then you're not going to know how to fix it. Because if you're putting in the effort into creating content, yet not figuring out how AI is going to rank you in the search results, then you're about to become whatever is worse than invisible, because this isn't going away. This is the new reality of how people find answers to the problems that they have. You need to be the resource, the go-to resource that AI goes to for those answers. And the third one is needing to make a marketing machine. And so this is the solution to those other two problems. So just recently, Alex Hormozy actually launched his new book, $100 Million Money Models, and I got access to the 12 playbooks. But more importantly, it was how to build a marketing machine. And I'm telling you right now, I was actually surprised by what was in it. I expected it to be about which platforms to use, how to structure your content, how to create input-output systems for the content creation, like something like link tracking or something like AI searchability. But it actually was not about any of that. The entire playbook was about one thing, one concept, and that is user-generated content. It's how do your clients talk about you and how do you get your clients to do your marketing for you. And here is why this matters for technical debt and your AI searchability. Because while AI is evaluating your business, they're not just looking at what you say about your business, they are looking about what other people say about your business. It's checking Trustpilot, it's checking Google reviews, your mentions on Reddit, references in other people's blog posts, all of it. And if AI sees that other people are talking positively about your business, then you have social proof across multiple platforms, and that's real humans vouching for you. And that means a lot when it comes to the world of AI search and AI search rank. It's just good marketing because we all know that social proof drives conversions. I mean, what's on the top of Amazon search products? It's the one with the highest review count and the highest review rank. It is what it is. When someone you trust recommends something to you, you are way more likely to buy it than if some stranger tells you to buy it. That's just common sense. So the marketing machine playbook is about creating a system to constantly generate client testimonials and turn that into content. Because when you get someone a great result, they're going to want to tell people about it anyway. And your job is to make that as easy as possible for them to do. Hence the marketing machine. And not only when you do that are you building a marketing machine, but you're building credibility, you're building social proof, you're improving your AI search rank, and you're creating content. It is the most valuable form of content that you can produce at all. And that's the opposite of tech debt. Because right now, I'm going to say 99% of businesses are completely invisible. AI, when it generates search rank results, it's pulling from 15 to 20 resources. If you're not one of those 15 or 20 resources, you're never going to be found. Okay, so here's what you really need to understand about marketing when it comes to tech debt, because it does not show up on your P&L. It doesn't show up as a line on your software subscriptions. It shows up in wasted time and wasted effort. It's hours spent creating content that you cannot measure the ROI for. It's time invested in platforms that you're not tracking. And it's even poured into content that AI can't find and will never reference. You're just hoping and guessing and throwing spaghetti at the wall just to see what sticks. And if you're not doing at least one of the 3 things that I mentioned in this video, meaning that you are tracking your links per your platforms, you're actually optimizing for your AI searchability, or you are in fact creating user-generated content systems to boost your AI ranking and searchability, then you're going into more debt with every single piece of content you publish. All right, so I gave you a lot of problems, right? So here's what we need to do about it. First, if you haven't, go get your tech health score. It's 25 questions, takes you about 10 minutes. It's going to show you exactly where your technical debt is coming from across 4 key pillars, including marketing. The link for that is in the description as well. So go do that right now. The second is go get your free assessment of how you currently rank in AI search. If you don't, then you don't know where you are and you don't know how to improve, which the AI search rank report will tell you how to improve. And lastly, if you haven't already, sign up for the Tech Debt Detox series. I know this one was just about marketing, but we're going to go into every individual department in your business and, more importantly, how to fix it. Everyone is up against the same AI monster that is ranking those results. And no matter what type of content you're producing, the principles are still the same. If you have the same links everywhere on every single platform, then you don't know what's driving the most ROI for your business. And that, plain and simple, is technical debt 101. Going into more debt with every single link that you publish in wasted time, wasted resources, and wasted money. Not to mention foregoing the money you could be making. But next week, you're not going to want to miss when I show you how tech debt is actually destroying your sales process. And here's a hint. Your CRM might be a disaster. Your data quality is not up to par, and your sales team is not actually using the system you built because it's too complicated or it's not actually benefiting them to do anything with it. So if that video is already live, it's going to be right here, and you're not going to want to miss it because this one is directly going to impact your revenue and your profit. But if it's not out yet, then make sure you sign up for the Tech Debt Detox series so you're the first person to know when that video drops. I'm Melissa, the Business Cowgirl, and I will see you on the next one because I don't want any of you guys to start 2026 in tech debt. So let's fix this thing. See you there.